And we are live. Welcome, Crypto Warriors, to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 583. Today is Wednesday, July 29th, and I'm your host, Bitcoin Zay, here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community, Monday through Friday at 10-ish. And I have some great news stories for you today, starting with the top story. Kodak. Its stock soared nearly 300% and trips more than a dozen circuit breakers. Philippine Central Bank becomes the latest to consider issuing a CBDC. Crypto-enabled investment app Etoro gets ready to issue debit cards in the UK. And last but not least, crypto wallet maker Ledger loses 1 million email addresses in data theft. But before we get into that, let's get into some market updates. Some crazy price action the last few days. Bitcoin is sitting at $11,229, up 2% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum at $322 is up 2% as well. Ripple at 23 cents, the big winner for the day, up 6%. Chainlink, unfortunately, at $7.11 is down 1%. Bitcoin Cash at $288 is down 1% as well. Litecoin at $55, a little bit of a surge, but now it's down 0.25%. And last but not least, EOS at $3.06 is up 2%. So one of the biggest things about the market so far that we've seen is when you have a 2.5-year bear market mixed with 3 months of sideways consolidation, you get a pump. And I think this is just the beginning. Of course, we will have a pullback at some point, but who knows when that'll be? It might be around 14K. Who knows? And at this point, should just be stacking and holding, So yeah, let's get into some of the comments. Hey, what's going on? Trich NYC, how you doing? PFC Wells, appreciate you. I'm picking up Trek vibes wearing these shades. Let's see. CB. Oh yeah, what up, blood? How you doing? Mr. Gibson, Lucky Lloyd, Madam Crypto, hola. And Trich NYC said, I need the retracement ASAP. I've gotten at least a dozen text messages from people that were either, hey man, I missed, buying it. How can I buy it right now? And then the people who have been in crypto are like, I need the price to go back down. So it's a weird juxtaposition of both of those of people's positions. But got some great news stories for you today. Starting with, the pump and dump of the century, Kodak. If you saw any type of news from trading, Kodak stock soared nearly 300% and actually tripped more than a dozen circuit breakers to the point where it had to stop trading. This was an enormous rally following the announcement from the Trump administration that they will be transformed into a pharmaceutical producer. He actually said that they will receive a $765 million loan to launch Kodak Pharmaceuticals, which will produce generic active pharmaceutical ingredients to reduce America's dependency on foreign drug makers. So bringing jobs back to America, supposedly. And the New York Stock Exchange halted the trading this morning after they had gained more than 500%, but it's still nearly up 300%. And, on the East Coast, it's around 1 p.m. So it's pretty much midday and they're still up 300%. The reason this story is relevant is if you remember back in 2018, we covered this story. A lot of people did. Kodak actually took a dip into the cryptocurrency world, and they actually announced that they would have miners. They also said they would have, pictures on the blockchain. It's one of those things where the hype was so big, people were just rushing into Bitcoin mining. It was called the Kodak Cash Miner. And of course, that just flopped completely. Nobody really cared about their blockchain. Nobody even believed they had a real blockchain. Probably the worst example of that was the Long Island Iced Tea Corporation that rebranded itself to Long Blockchain Corp. So yes, this is something that the SEC looks at. Different organizations will take a look at because Kodak, I just saw right before I got on an article a screenshot of a guy that bought thousands of shares of Kodak, a few weeks ago, and he just so happened to work for Kodak. So in my opinion, this was an inside job. Like most big trades that happen, you have some sort of inside information, whether it's legal or illegal, who knows? I guess they'll figure that out later. But whenever you have a 500% trace, somebody quintupled their net worth in a matter of hours, that's when you start to see those problems. And compared to cryptocurrency, this is like altcoin market, alt season. In 2017, you had stuff pumping 1,000, 2,000% in a week. So let's look at some of these comments here. Lucky Lloyd, my XRP shot up to 24 cents. I'm about to be rich. Oh yeah, still looking for that $1 Ripple to come back. Sergeant Crypto was looking for 1,000 Bitcoin since it was 3K. Don't think it's going to happen. A good indicator of that is how much it costs for mining. And usually, if you look up how much it costs for miners to stay solvent, it usually doesn't go below that price. If it does, it's for a short period of time, and then it bounces right back. So in March, the amount of the value that Bitcoin had to be for miners to stay solvent was $4,400. So when you saw it drop really quick down to I think 3,700 and then retrace almost instantly, that's because it's in the miner's best interest to stay solvent. So I doubt we will see that price ever again. That price only increases as hash rate increases, and we have the highest 7-day moving average of hash rate in Bitcoin history. So we keep breaking records every week with the hash rate. So of course, price is going to increase. Let's see who else we got. Bitcoin Jake. Wow, they're going into pharma. Yeah, they're just jumping. To me, they're just jumping ship from what seems profitable. And I think it was an inside job, a good pump and dump. And somebody, say, how many government officials bought Kodak a month ago? That is the real investigation. That's what I'm waiting to see. I don't know exactly who, but I did see a screenshot of a few people that just so happened to buy Kodak like 2 weeks ago or a month ago, especially when Kodak was kind of dead in the market. Let's see, Trich, I've been stacking and chilling, but I feel all indicators say it's a go. Bull run here. CME futures gap at 9,600. After that, we're good to go by the dip. So a lot of people talking about that futures gap at 9,600. Yes, that is a gap there, but you don't know when it will retrace. It could pump, like I said, to 14,000 before that retrace. We might have a similar situation as August 2017. If you remember, Bitcoin was rising in value. It got up to about 6,000 at the end of July, early August. And then Jamie Dimon, along with some other bad news, said some stuff at a conference, and the price dropped to 3,000 in a matter of 2 days, bounced back. And then, of course, you know the story at the end of the year, it was at 20,000, new all-time high. So I think we may see something similar this year. If you remember last year in August, the price of Bitcoin was $12,000. So for those of you talking about volatility, I mean, the volatility argument is almost dead at this point. We've been going straight across, it seems like, with small jumps here and there. So let's see who we got. Bitcoin Jake, I'm stacking a micro cap. You can keep I always say keep a few of those because they can pump out of this world, but get out of it if they don't have a real use case, which most of them don't. And my boy CB, thanks for the $5. Appreciate you, my man. So moving forward, the Philippines becomes the latest central bank to consider issuing a CBDC. Don't want to spend too much time on this simply because we said CBDCs a year and a half ago were going to be a big thing with central banks. They don't have a choice. They can't keep printing paper money and then every business is going cashless. So they're going to have to issue digital currency at a certain point. Looks as though Philippines is in on it now. It says here we have to first look at the findings of the group before making a decision because the BSP, they have formed a committee to sort of, implicate that this move is going to come about. Their official statement is cryptocurrency for us has always been beyond the asset itself, but more on the blockchain technology that underpins it. Man, if I had a Bitcoin for every time I heard that, I'd damn near be Satoshi at this point. Like, good gracious. Every company or every government agency that talks about cryptocurrencies, they're like, well, they're cool, but we don't want anything to do with the actual asset. It's about blockchain technology. And, for the most part, blockchain technology is nothing more than a slower database. It's a good buzzword, but it is good for security. And of course, for people who use it, they can actually verify where things come from. Problem is, if they control the ledger, not really a decentralized blockchain anymore. It's a private one, and it's the same thing we already have. So at the same time of Philippines doing this, we've already said China. We've already seen Russia talking about CBDCs. I'm sure the US, they've already discussed it, but I'm sure they're going full steam. So CBDCs are coming, people. They're already here. Technically, we have Tether, Paxos. I think they'll be in the form of other coins. We have USD coin. They're already here, people. So yes, let's look at some of the comments. Bitcoin Jake, this one does have use case, great active GitHub and platform. Cool. Yeah, well, like I said, hold it for a few years and you could be one of the people that became millionaires from $1,000. Let's see, Lucky Lloyd. I'm trying to figure out what's the coin that everyone is sleeping on. I don't know. If you asked me that a year ago, I probably would have told you Link, only because I just knew some people that were involved with it, and I figured they had a good project. And then, of course, they pumped hard this year. But right now, not sure. Let's see. Timothy Grigsby, Cardano's Shelly mainnet launch day. Nice. Let's see. Lucky Lloyd, do your own research on Devault. Yeah. Shout out to Decentralized, one of our regular commenters. And yes, for creating Devault. Actually sent me some Devault for the book. So thank you for that. Let's see. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Wouldn't be surprised if if Cardano drops today. That tends to happen usually. And let's see. Any more comments here? No comments. All right, good. So let's move forward to another big story today. Crypto-enabled investment app Etoro gets ready to issue debit cards in the UK. Shout out to Etoro. Want to give them a hand clap. Actually, I did a short video for Etoro. It should be coming out soon in the next few weeks. But Etoro is set to launch its debit card in the United Kingdom. It has acquired Mark Millions Limited, a licensed e-money business holding a principal Visa membership. So they acquired is how they call it. They basically got the company to do the work for them by purchasing from them. They'll be doing business as Etoro Money and will be the direct issuer of Etoro's planned debit card. So if you don't want to build a whole new division to create a debit card, just buy a company that already has the money business license and they're already with Visa. So that works for them. The debit cards, the launch date is still unknown. So I want people to understand that whenever these companies are like, oh, we're coming out with a new debit card, we're coming out with this. If they don't have a launch date, don't hold your breath. But if they say it's coming, I'm sure it's coming at some point. The geographical expansion to Europe will follow after the UK, while later on the card will be available for non-Toro users as well. So, as a Visa principal member, you have the cash in, cash out functionality. That should have additional revenue for crypto traders who convert their profits to cash. So if you're on Etoro, you're following somebody's trades, you make money from it, and then you take that money and it's on your debit card, you're basically using crypto as cash at that point. And even though crypto, spending crypto on the blockchain is something more people may want to do, this is a good bridge to it. And a lot of companies are starting to do this with debit cards because people understand debit cards, not so much the crypto side of it or QR codes, not yet, but it's coming. If you've been to a restaurant lately, you can see that you have to scan QR codes for the menu, and then you also get a receipt with a QR code where you can scan it and pay. I mean, we're one step away, people. We're this close. So in quarter two of 2020, which ended in June, Etoro talked about planning a launch of the debit card. However, COVID-19 might have slowed that down. So yes, we should see a card later this year. Let's get into some of these comments. A lot of good ones coming in. Let's see. Bitcoin Jake, I got voted in on the Devault DAO for marketing. Nice. Harold George, how you doing, brother? Nice to see you. Bitcoin Jake, Nintendo 64, StarCraft game. Oh yeah, I'm a Mario Kart guy. And also, Nintendo 64, of course, is a great gaming system. But I wish, they would have stuck around a little bit longer. If anybody has any old Nintendo 64s they're trying to sell, hit me up. I might be interested in buying some. So shout out to Bitcoin Jake. And let's get into our last story of the day. This was a big one. Crypto wallet maker Ledger loses 1 million email addresses in data theft. Whew. Now, this is a ongoing story because I have seen conflicting reports. I've seen Ledger come out and say something. I've seen other members of their team say something. So I'm not sure exactly. However, if this is true, it says that customer details have been stolen in a data breach that may well have been exploited for over 2 months. So the CEO, Pascal Gauthier, said the French hardware wallet provider fell victim to a large-scale data breach from an unauthorized third party. Of course, the hacker, whose identity remains unknown, he or she gained access to Ledger's e-commerce and marketing database. Customers affected include those who signed up for Ledger's newsletter or to receive promotional material. And the information stolen includes email addresses, with about 9,500 customers also having their full names, postal addresses, and phone numbers exposed. I hope you didn't use your home address. In total, the company estimates around 1 million email addresses have been stolen. However, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Payment information, passwords, and cryptocurrency funds have not been affected. However, this information hits the dark web and people purchase all of these email addresses, I'm sure they'll have some sort of scheme going, some sort of scam to try and get people to send them crypto. So the data breach was first detected as part of a bug bounty program on July 14th. And they say it could have actually been accessed in April all the way to the end of June. So good gracious, Ledger. You might want to tell somebody a little earlier. However, I think they tried to solve it themselves, and then they kind of got bit in the ass with that one. Let's see, Trish NYC. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. Let's see, Bitcoin Jake. Russians supposedly have like 9,000 of the addresses numbers. I can tell you right now, usually if the hackers have it's in the dark web somewhere. So whether it's Russians, Chinese, or somebody, it's on the dark web. Somebody has it. PFC Wells, thank goodness I never accept the promotional info. Exactly. I don't either. However, and I don't have a ledger. So I have a different hardware wallet. So yeah, this happens, but you just want to stay safe. Use different names, use PO boxes. Don't use the email address that you regularly use. And also, if you store your crypto on a hardware wallet, make sure you back it up. So let's see, Sergeant Crypto, he said that's all their customers. Anyone who ever bought a ledger, they have your info. Like I said, I've never bought one, so fortunately, this doesn't affect me. But anyone that's got one, I would say, hey, move it either to another hardware wallet or just for the time being, move it into a paper wallet, store it there for a second, and then move it to another hardware wallet later. So let's see, Bitcoin Jake. I don't use hardware wallets. I use full nodes with backups and paper wallets. Likewise, I run a light client. I don't run a full node on this computer. I have one on another one. And just keep backing it up and use paper wallets. Just put them in your safe, and they're as good as a hardware wallet, essentially, as long as the seed that you used to create it wasn't something online where they can track it. So yeah, it's a lot of theft happening at a time where the price of Bitcoin is increasing. This is always the case. The price goes up, becomes more valuable. The scammers and robbers come out. That's just how life goes. So good thing about this story is that people will be more vigilant. Every time this happens, there's way more steps to security that's added, way more hardening of the industry, I would say. So I don't like to see this happen. However, this is a new industry that's coming, and a lot of people will have to pay that tuition, or unfortunately, some stuff like this has to happen for them to pay attention. So good for you, Bitcoin Jake. And of course, for anybody else who does the same, like I said, move it to a paper wallet. Have your own wallet on your own node or a light client that you can use, and you should be fine. Let's see, GitHub, Vanity Gen Plus, put on offline laptop, make address and keys, print, laminate, store. Yep, that's one way. I know a few GitHub terminals where you can actually access paper wallets that you can create your own. Good for you, my brother. So yes, that is all of the stories we have for today. Like I said, today is a pretty short show. Timothy Grigsby jumping in. A lot of news will be entering the space with the new bull run and get swept up in scams. It is what it is, man. Like I said, we've been doing this show long enough. We're at episode 583. The Crypto Blood, he's been doing his show. Trek, PFC Wells, he's been doing his show. We put out a lot of information where you can not be susceptible to this. However, you're right. New people jump in. In fact, after the Kodak trade earlier, Robinhood had 43,000 new accounts. That is FOMO if I've ever heard it. If it's already up 500%, you're not making any more money off of that. So yes, that is what people do. That is the psychology of people. Even if you are like, well, I feel like people are smart. Doesn't matter. Sometimes people get antsy and they're like, well, let me just make a little bit off of it. So the best thing to do is buy Bitcoin, hold it, and just wait for the future when I believe it will be a unit of account. So thank you all for watching today. Nothing more from me. Anybody who has ordered books that have not come, like I said, Amazon has been backed up for weeks now, but they will be on their way today and tomorrow. So thank you all for anybody who has ordered the book. And of course, later this year, we'll be announcing the second edition of Bitcoin in Black America. So look out for that. And again, thank you all for watching. Happy Hump Day. Cheers.